Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us at Hot 7 TV. Drivers are calling for authorities to allow them to carry a full load of passengers following a recent move by the government to increase the capacity of minibuses from 9 to 10 under social distancing protocols. President of the Cicero Minibus Association says an increase of passenger capacity is welcomed by the association. However, when done on such a small scale, he does not expect drivers to reap much benefit.
Public transport restrictions continue to ease, most recently seeing an increase of passengers on minibuses from 9 to 10 passengers. We spoke to minibus operators on the Latok Cicero minibus stand to see how they have reacted to this move by government.
Right now, they are asking us to follow the proper protocols. Right now, the ministry notifies us that now that we are allowed to carry the 10 passengers. And we have to follow the protocols where all passengers and drivers have to wear the mask. Well, it's not beneficial for drivers, but as you know, we're following the protocol as the CMO says, so they're trying their best to allow us to carry the 14 passengers. So as for this week, we'll be on a trial basis where the dispatchers and the police will be passing to ensure that we follow the proper protocols. So once everything goes smoothly by this week, hopefully by next week, we should be able to get our maximum passengers.
Meanwhile, some drivers feel that this move was unnecessary and have called for the authorities to allow them to carry their full capacity of passengers at this time.
If we can come out from 9 to 10 passengers, I feel you can do the 15 passengers. Because the reason they have to give us to the 15 passengers is up to now, right up to now, from day one that bus things, that COVID-19 thing started in St. Lucia, bus drivers have been sinking. And nobody not watching our back for us. And who paying us? Who paying the drivers for all them days we losing? Who paying for that? Because I mean we never get them from the government, and the government self know that, Transport Board know that, National Council know that. So who representing bus drivers? They sinking. You see the person that representing bus drivers, they sinking bus drivers. Because at the end of the day, we have all the bills to pay. All our bills we still have to pay it.
We'll continue to follow this story and offer you the recent updates as they become available. For Hot 7 News, I am Jacko Whitting.
Taxi drivers have been agitating and expressing their disappointment with what they believe would have been new legislation for their sector and are calling on the government to supply them with some much-needed reprieve. Government Senator Francisco Japierre has indicated that his allegiance will remain with the taxi sector and will not support any legislation that will disrupt the operations and livelihoods of taxi operators.
The parameters that were set for the reopening of the tourism sector and international borders have left many people with uncertainties and a myriad of questions. One of the sectors which may benefit directly from the reopening of the international tourism market is the taxi sector. A voice note circulated last week indicating that taxi drivers would have to be recertified in order to be viable to work, given all the new rules governing the country because of COVID-19. Minister for Tourism, Dominic Fede, explained that the fears of recertification were unwarranted.
There was a voicemail going around suggested that the Ministry of Tourism will be decertifying taxi drivers. That is not so at all. We've been able to clarify that. We had a very good meeting. Taxi drivers are now clearer as to what we want to do. We want to empower their sector. We want them to grow. We want them to be advanced. And what we're saying to them is that we are concerned about their retirement. We are concerned about their advancement. And we are concerned as well about them going forward. And so today, we are extremely pleased with the outcome of the meeting. We have put together a task force, and that task force includes representation from the taxi sector, which will now look at a number of issues to simplify the operations and the governance and the bureaucracy surrounding the sector, and as well to look at how do we make this sector more profitable and lucrative for taxi drivers financially, and how as well we take care of social security benefits for taxi drivers.
Following all the mayhem and uncertainty, Government Senator and taxi operator Francisco Japierre says he stands in solidarity with taxi drivers and will not accept any impromptu or brash decisions by the government that will offset the livelihood of people within the taxi sector.
I must say, I will not support any question of re-registration, point blank. The taxi sector has suffered for the longest while under both administrations. And I think it's a time now where we need to look at the question of concessions. We need to look at the question of having the taxi drivers, the bona fide taxi drivers. I am on record as saying that the Ministry of Tourism, over the years, both Ministry of Tourism and the St. Lucia Hotel and Tourism Association has never worked in the favor of taxi drivers. And I will put my neck on the block and I'll stand with taxi drivers.
Member of the Southwestern Taxi Association, Kevin Thomas, indicated that coming out of this misunderstanding and miscommunication, taxi drivers have been afforded a chance for their voices to be heard. He says this situation presented the taxi sector an opportunity to finally meet with officials and explain to them what could be done to improve the taxi sector.
We've been asking for concessions from the government, right, for far too long now. Right, the taxi drivers and the taxi operators, we've been asking for concessions. For some reason, I feel everyone on the island is getting concessions except taxi drivers, which I don't understand because taxi drivers are the movers of our visitors, yet still we're not getting the concessions that we're asking to be able to do our jobs and to be able to make sure that our visitors are comfortable when visiting our shows. Duty-free concessions. For duty-free concessions on our various vehicles, because now we're in 2020. Okay, we have people coming in paying X amount of monies for their various hotels, all right, to spend the night at the various hotels. So we're expecting to have the vehicle or the proper tool, if I should say, right, to be able to have that done smoothly to accommodate or to balance out what service that we offer in St. Lucia.
As the country continues to await its first cohort of international tourists, taxi drivers have been assured that their needs will be met and proper procedures and channels will be put in place in order to subdue the many fears and concerns that were raised in the meetings with officials during the past week. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness remains committed to refurbishing the respiratory hospital to be utilized for suspected and confirmed cases of COVID-19. More in this report from Fennell Neptune.
Minister for Health, Senator the Honorable Mary Isaac, along with a delegation, recently toured the Victoria Hospital, which is being transformed into a full-scale respiratory hospital. Senator the Honorable Mary Isaac says she is very pleased with the work being done on the respiratory hospital and hope it will assist in handling a possible surge of COVID-19 in St. Lucia.
I'm hoping that we will be able to use this facility to contain the virus, to manage the virus, and to treat the virus, which is what we have been doing. But we have not been as focused as we would like to be in terms of having the proper facility. So this facility is going to give us an opportunity to have a better place to bring these potential, cases, and for us to take care of these cases in a very nice facility. It's already looking very, very nice. The rooms I saw, the size of the rooms have their own toilet in most cases, or sometimes a person may be sharing a toilet with somebody else, but it's looking excellent from now, from what I have seen.
Chief Health Planner Dwight Calix spoke on the need for government to undertake this project of significant importance.
As part of the COVID response, we had to get an intervention where we could appropriately manage our patients. So there's quarantine, there's isolation, and so on. So the respiratory facility was that response which would have managed in terms of our quarantine patients, but those quarantine patients which would have required medical attention. So our quarantine facility in the north would take care of those persons who are just suspect cases waiting for their results. This facility would be the same suspect cases waiting for results but requiring medical attention.
Executive Director of OKEUH and Victoria Hospital, Nancy Francis, highlighted the management of the works undertaken as to ensure the smooth running of the project.
We have ongoing construction works over at the respiratory hospital. At the same time, we have patients coming to receive care. So we have to ensure that the logistics is carefully coordinated between our project team, the contractor, and the World Bank team. So we have on ground our hospital engineer who's working very closely with Skelly Construction, as well as the oversight committee from the World Bank. So on a daily basis, our project engineer will be in contact with Skelly Construction so they can look at the logistics for the day. And from a management perspective, every single day we have a manager on ground at the respiratory hospital to ensure that things are done, things are coordinated in the right way, and we are able to respond to any emergencies that may arise.
The Victoria Hospital is designed to treat patients with respiratory illnesses such as COVID-19 and will have the capacity of 85 rooms. Reporting from the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, I am Fenel Neptune.
The public is hereby notified that in keeping with changes in international oil prices and government's application of the modified market pass-through petroleum pricing mechanism, the retail price of diesel, LPG 20, 22 and 100-pound cylinders have changed. The retail price of gasoline and kerosene remains unchanged. The price changes take effect from Monday, June 8, 2020. Gasoline remains unchanged at $2.53 per litre or $11.50 per gallon. Kerosene remains unchanged at $1.57 per litre or $7.15 per gallon. Diesel decreased from $2.62 to $2.30 per litre or $11.92 to $10.44 per gallon. 20-pound cylinders decreased from $26.19 to $25.82 per cylinder. 22-pound cylinders decreased from $28.80 to $28.40 per 100-pound cylinders decreased from $147.71 to $144.05 per cylinder. The public is informed that the next adjustment of the retail price of fuel products will be on Monday, June 29, 2020. Stay with us. You're watching the Hot 7 Nightly News. We'll be right back after these messages.